Alright everyone, welcome along Happy New Year and all that. So, welcome back to New York, yeah? One of the things I want to get ready is our report pack that's now going to adapt and move forward with the New York water tower inspections. So the nice thing about this is it's pretty much been running quietly behind the scenes. One of the things that I've noticed is the Power BI report has stopped working or stopped refreshing, but the data flow that feeds it is still running. So that's been working perfectly. The feed keeps running. It's the report that we've had an issue with. And in that report issue, when I was looking into it, I saw, I've made a little mistake. Mistake, not a mistake, take your pick. We need to bring through the calendar. So what we're going to try and do today is look at calendars and dates and get that really nailed down so that we definitely understand that and what it all means for us. Champion. Alright, so water tower inspections, yeah? A return to it. It's definitely time we came back to it. This has been a great success actually behind the scenes. For all I'm saying, it's got issues. It's worked perfectly, so it's done everything I would want a data set to do. So historically, we had this set up. It's data flow based, and those are working. That's great. And then one of the things I was looking at was moving it through into the Power BI managed environments or development pipelines that they've now got. Now, these are a premium feature, so I thought, well, let's keep doing it, keep using it. And the other thing I want to do, because we're using premium features, I'm probably going to do this in a data mart as well, knowing that data marts are coming to maturity now and are getting ready to be released. It feels like it's the right time to actually try and have a proper look at what it is they do and how they work. Okay? I think that's a sensible thing to do. Of course, everything we do in a data mart, you can do in a Power BI PBIX file, so your master Power BI that I keep talking to you about, right? So we might try and parallel this a bit, but I'll show you some of what I mean today, and we'll revisit it again next week when we're talking about the Kimball Schemas. Let's get on to actually what I'm talking about with these. So today what I want to look at really is our calendar table. Now, I'm using my calendar table. I can't remember where I found it from. That's my biggest headache issue, whatever you want to call it. I definitely don't want to put it forward as something that's my work or anything I've done. I've modified it, I've updated it, but it definitely, the core kernel of it, the crux of it, came from somewhere on the internet, and I really can't remember where. So I'll take you through that, but what we might do is we might implement one of the other ones that I've shared at the bottom of the video. So if you have a look down, you'll see this in the links for some calendars that you can download and start from there. What we want to do today though is let's build that calendar table, let's put that in. This is definitely the most important table that you will have in your Power BI Enterprise Analytics environment, so it needs to be right. It needs to be something as well that you're not afraid to revisit as and when needed. So be prepared to come back and go, we need to tweak our calendar, right? That will happen. Next week, we'll look at Kimball Schemas. So we'll actually discuss the whole whys and wherefores as to what it actually means. What are facts? What are dimensions? Try and wrap some context around that. It's important to have a really important dimension there for starters, which is why we're doing the calendar table today, and then we'll do the theory of the facts and the dimensions next week. And then that'll all make a lot more sense. We'll be able to move forward and start to deep dive into things like our better management, the review of the development pipeline, how we're going to push it all forward. Yeah? Champion. Alright, so here we are. Power BI desktop. Okay? Gone into the query editor view. What we need to do is have a look in the calendar. Okay? Now, in essence, what's happening, you can see I've got a filtered row step here. And what we're doing is we're actually filtering it by year. So we've got year filters in there, and that's what we need to get rid of. Now there's a reason for them. So we want it to be greater than 2014, which is right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click that, and I'm just going to remove the second part of that. Okay? So we're saying it's greater than 2024. The other thing we want to do though, because we don't want to have everything going as far as our calendar goes, and this is something that you'll find a lot in your business and the way you do things. So it's not uncommon that your calendar table you'll want to filter by two things. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to filter it by day drift. Okay, so we're going to say day drift is less than or equal to 0. Okay, now day drift is something that you get in a lot of these calendars. Okay, so the calendars I build, I tend to have day and month drift. If we're in a business that uses weeks, put in a week drift as well. You can have quarter drift, year drift, any drift that you need. The point of a drift is your 0 is the current one. So day drift of 0 will always be today. Right? That's how this has worked. And because it's today, right, you can lock things to it. Your month drift of 0 is today, is this month, but your last month would always be -1. So what it means is we can build report pages. So I could build a monthly report page and I can say, well, let's have 3 pages looking at the last 3 months. Last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, potentially even combine them. And because you can use these drift filters, you can actually then have something that's really easy to understand and consistent and is quick to build as well. Okay, not lazy, efficient, I believe Patrick says. Okay, so we've built these 2 filters in here quickly, easily, it's done it. Okay, so I'm just going to close and apply and we'll come back when it's built. All right, so here we are back. Okay, and we can suddenly see that we've got all our values built through. We've got 2022 figures coming through. As we head into 2023, we'll see a lot more. It's interesting, it looks like there's not been a full load come through. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Be an interesting one to watch going forward, right? And we'll do this as part of our validations as we're going through. So are there buildings that are just not to code anymore, if that's even the right way to put it? And we'll look around and we'll see, and we can check some buildings in New York City that we might find out about. We know about the Continental and their post office across the road. New Amsterdam, maybe we can find New Amsterdam and see how many water towers they've got and are they all up to code or not. But we'll take it from there. So what does a calendar actually look like? So here in my data core, I've got the calendar that I've got. Okay, this is the one I use. This is my go-to calendar really for it. There's a few things that I do with it, as I say, that it goes through and it does. So we're building our months to get the month IDs and then to break those down. So you've got a constant month number field that you can then use to actually see where are we, ordering months, everything like that can be done. So you don't necessarily have to bring in years to sort your months, things like that. There's lots that goes on with it. You need to be clear about what it is you're wanting to do, but this will work for you as a constant, okay? What we're doing with this is it always starts with some parameters, okay? All of them will start with a start date and an end date, okay? So for me, I always go, and just as a basic, given that this is my corporate calendar for all the demos that we're going to build, starts at 1900 and it goes through to 2100, okay? So 200 years, right? That should do for all the demos I'm going to do. For your business, you might want something different. You might put it around when your business started or something else, but that's easy enough to do, right? From there, you're going to calculate a number of days that it's going to have, and then it creates a list of dates, right? This is how all the calendars start. From there, you're just adding columns to it, and it's the calculations to add those columns. The difference, and depending on which calendar you go with, depending on what you do, you'll see some of these things happening, you'll see different things. One of the things that I've done is I've put in this here. So I've put in our Geordie Intelligence calendar. So from when the business started, so in 2020. And you can bring this through and you can say, well, this is going to be month, this is going to be year. Now, the point of this was around, there's differences that you will have in your business. Some areas I've seen this done with holidays. So in terms of public holidays, if you're a small area, so if you're not a small area, If you're only dealing with, say, one country, you'll often put in the holidays for that country. That's often put in as a separate spreadsheet. The point of this was around if you've got a corporate calendar. So you might have a calendar that doesn't follow calendar months, that's a mixture or a hybrid of retail calendars, so like a 445 style retail calendar, and then you've got fixed points around the year where you need it to be a month end for your corporate year-end tax returns, for example. So there's all those kinds of things that come through. So this is an ability that you can actually start to piece together and leverage using those a lot more. So in this calendar, we're not just bringing together all our dates, getting everything pulled together, we're also then merging in this corporate calendar and then using filled down to actually reference the data down from it. So your corporate calendar will just have start dates, key dates for it to start. Those could just be, you can do something similar where it's holidays. There's some jiggery pokery, you can work out that. But it's all about just working through how do you want your calendar to go. And it always starts with that list of dates. And then from there, it's easy enough to say, I've now got my list of dates and I've converted to a table. From here, we want to insert, add a column. Oh, it needs to be dates, doesn't it? Like they've done here. We're going to insert year from there. Okay, we're going to insert month from there. It needs to be dates. This was all done before, as I say. So it's easy peasy to get these in. Work on one and don't be afraid to revisit, as we say. So what have you reckon then? Okay, getting your calendar right it's the foundation stone of your report. It's this central, yeah? Your report will rely on that calendar. I can almost guarantee it, okay? And if it's certainly not just for a report, as you look wider across your business, if you're doing an enterprise grade analytics environment, you're gonna have to have a corporate calendar, right? Every business I've worked with, you need the corporate calendar. There's no way around it. You've got to do it. So take the time, understand it, and make sure you've covered everything, because you need to think through what are the granularities that we're going to get asked to do. Are we going to get asked to do day calendars? Days? We're going to get asked to do months. We're going to get asked to do quarters, years. Is it going to be year over year, quarter over quarter, month over month? All of those need to be reflected in your calendar so that you can easily lock your data to them. Okay. We'll revisit a lot of this next week when we do the Kimball stuff. I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, so come back next week, let's have a look and let's see how we can make it all work together in terms of a Kimball schema. For now though, take care, stay safe, ta-da.